Hi, today we're going to be starting our new topic in geography, and we haven't done any geography yet in year 2, so I'm really excited for us to get really stuck into our new topic. Now, I know some of you already know our new topic because you saw me setting up parts of the classroom just before we set up for left for Christmas. But for those of you that aren't sure what we're going to be learning about, we're going to be learning about the country of India. And I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you now some more information about India. So today, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to be examining the location and the physical features of New Delhi. But first, let's have a look at our knowledge quiz. So I want you to have a think. I'll read through each of the questions, and then you may like to pause this video to see if you've got the correct answers. So the first thing we're going to look at, what are the 4 seasons of the year? What are the 4 seasons of the year? See if you can count them on your fingers. Which seasons can you remember? You might like to start with which season we're in at the moment. Okay, question number 2. During which season do we have colder weather? During which season do we have colder weather? Question number 3. True or false? Days of sunlight are longer in the summer. True or false? Days of sunlight are longer in the summer. And finally, your last knowledge quiz question. In which season are lambs born? In which season are lambs born? If you haven't managed to answer all the questions, pause the video now until you have. Let's work through the answers. Question number 1. The 4 seasons of the year are winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Question number 2. Which seasons do we have colder weather? We have colder weather in winter. True or false? Days of sunlight are longer in the summer. And that is true. In summer, the days have more sunlight than in the winter. In which season are lambs born? Lambs are born in spring. Key vocab. Our key vocabulary today is rupee, which is the currency in India. That is how people use and spend money. They use rupees. My turn, rupee. Your turn. Rupee. Rupee. And I've actually got some rupees here with me now, so I can show you. This is 100 rupees. And this is 10 rupees. And as you can see here on the slide, instead of having a symbol that represents the pound, we have the symbol that represents the rupee. Our other keyword is earthquake. 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 And an earthquake is where plates of the earth make the ground shake. Okay, so the plates, when they slide over each other, make the ground shake, and this is a natural disaster. And the people of India, especially around the area of New Delhi, where we're going to be focusing on today, the capital city, often experience earthquakes. Well done if you managed to get those questions correct. Little drum roll. This term, we will be exploring the country of India. And here you can see a picture of the Indian flag and a map of India. You can see this section here in the darker orange is India. Let's watch a video.
In India, when people greet you, they give you a bindi and say namaste. Our guide Mahi took us on a tour of Delhi. It was very hot, so we ended up taking an auto rickshaw. We went to the main mosque and then we went to the Sikh temple where I learned how to roll chapatis. We ate the chapatis for lunch in a big hall with hundreds of other people. Only women can roll chapatis. My dad and my brother didn't get to do it. After women had finished rolling chapatis, a man would cook them on a barbecue. We travelled by an overnight train from Delhi to Jodhpur, and the chai walla brought us cups of tea. The next morning, the train stopped at a station and we jumped off and brought fried pakoras. They were yummy, but some were really spicy. At Jodhpur, we visited a big fort and drank lassi, which is like a fruit smoothie. Jaipur is famous for its block printing, which we learnt how to do. And we visited a royal palace. I loved the Amber Fort, it was beautiful. Mummy and I had our hands henna'd. It was very beautiful, but it felt a bit weird on your hand. We stopped in a village and we saw a potter making pots. We also visited the countryside and wandered around a traditional village. In Agra, I learnt how to weave at a carpet factory. It was tricky at the start, but I eventually got the hang of it. Before they sell the carpets, they have to wash them. We had to get up really early to see the sunrise at the Taj Mahal. It was very beautiful. The emperor built it as a tomb for his favourite wife.
So why are we learning then about this word rupee and about the word earthquake? Well, rupee is the currency for India. So it's really important if you want to try and spend any money in India that you know what notes you'll need when you get there. And earthquakes are our second keyword because earthquakes are common in India. And they are a type of weather that we don't really experience here in the UK. I don't walk down the street around Paddington or Kensal Rise or Kensal Green and suddenly start feeling the earth beginning to shake. Okay, but for some people in India, that could be quite sorry, a common type of activity that you may experience. So let's find out some more facts about New Delhi. So New Delhi is the capital city of India. It's in the north central part of the country. And we saw that on the other map that we just looked at. India is a country in Asia. And we know that Asia is you're right, it's a continent. And the language spoken in New Delhi is Hindi. So how many people live in New Delhi? Well, the population of New Delhi is roughly 18.6 million people. That is a lot of people. And the currency used, as we already discussed, can you remember what the currency is? Yes, it's rupee. Well done. And most people living in New Delhi are Hindu. But as you found on the video, there are also other religions living in India, such as Sikhs and Muslims. So not everybody that lives in India is a Hindu, but many are. So the area of New Delhi is very flat and is often referred to as being on a plain. Not the kind of plane that you would find flying in the air and carrying people from one place to another. It's a homophone. And it also means an area of flat land is a plain. Now, the city is renowned for the big river that runs through the middle. And unfortunately, it floods quite often. And that river is called the Yamuna. The Yamuna River. The Yamuna River. And as I've already said, New Delhi also experiences a lot of earthquakes. So our focus today is going to be looking at some map work. On this side of the map, you can see the countries that border India. And India is above the Indian Ocean. This is the Indian Ocean. And this here is India. And the countries that border India are Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, China, Bhutan, and Myanmar. We're not going to heavily focus on Bhutan and Myanmar today. We're going to be mainly focusing on Bangladesh, Nepal, China, and Pakistan. But it is good to know that Bhutan and Myanmar also do border India.
India lies to the east, in a region called Asia. It is a vast country, nearly 13.5 times larger than the UK. It has two long coastlines. On the west is the Arabian Sea, and on the east is the Indian Ocean. To the north, India has borders with several countries, but is cut off from most of them by a natural wall, the world's highest mountain range, the Himalayas. Below the Himalayas are the flat, fertile lowland plains, fed by three rivers, the Indus, the Brahmaputra, and India's largest river, the Ganges. Along the western edge of this region, near the border with Pakistan, the plains give way to the Great Indian Desert, also known as the Thar Desert. Below the plains is an area called the Deccan, and at its southern tip, there's a range of smaller mountains called the Western and Eastern Ghats. Throughout India, hills, grasslands and forests are home to a variety of wildlife. Over 1 billion people live here in 29 states, and more than 18 languages are spoken. Most people who live here are Hindus, but there are also Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, and Christians living here too.
Welcome to India.
Welcome to India.
Welcome to.
So as you can see on the video, we've now had a look at the fact that India is bordered by many other countries. You may have even noticed that on the map in the video that Myanmar was called Burma, but most people now refer to it as the Republic of Myanmar. Bangladesh, Nepal, China, Pakistan. I want you to say them with me. Let's say them again. Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, China, and Pakistan. Your first task is to identify the countries that border India. If you've managed to print out the worksheet, then you can fill in the gaps using the worksheet. The map on the previous slide will be able to help you if you cannot remember the names. Don't forget, countries are proper nouns and need capital letters. Try to make your writing as neat as you can. If you don't have access to a printer and don't have the worksheet, then in your notepad you can write down A B, C, D and E. And you can write down either the country or the ocean that is being referred to on the map. See if you can also locate the capital city. You may like to pause the video or go back to the previous part of the video before moving on to the next section of this video, which will be task number 2. Task number 2. In your notepad, or if you've been able to print out the worksheet underneath the map, try and answer these questions in full sentences. There are 4 questions for you to answer. You may like to pause the video at this point to carry out these questions. So the first question is, what is the capital city of India? Question number 2, which river runs through this city? Question number 3, name one natural disaster that often occurs in the city. And finally, question number 4, which continent is India in? I can't wait to find out how well you've got on with these 2 tasks when you upload your work to Seesaw later today.